Welcome to the NewsHour. We start tonight with the race for the White House and Vice President Kamala Harris in her first sit-down interview since capturing the Democratic nomination for president.
Over the course of 27 minutes, alongside her running mate Tim Walz, Harris fended off challenges to her policy positions. And she tread a thin line between being a change candidate and carrying on the legacy she's forged with President Biden. To be sure, she did make some news, like saying she would bring a Republican into her cabinet, something that's not been done since the Obama administration.
I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
Also in that interview, Harris was pressed on why her economic proposals had not already been put into place, given her position within the Biden administration.
You have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
Meanwhile, Harris's rival, former President Donald Trump, was campaigning in Johnstown, Pennsylvania today. He'd already used his social media platform to describe the Harris interview as, quote, boring. And today he said that the interview was hardly a test.
Kamala, who's a total lightweight. Did you see her on television last night? This is going to be the president. This is going to be the president of our country? I don't think so. Sitting propped up in a desk. And it's the first interview she's done in, like, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And if you're too weak to do a one-on-one interview with a person that was so soft.
Tonight, Mr. Trump speaks to the right-wing Moms for Liberty group in Washington, D.C. And on Monday, Vice President Harris will appear alongside President Biden for a Labor Day event in Pittsburgh. It'll be their first campaign event together since her nomination.
Also today, a Russian-guided bomb attack on Ukraine's second-largest city killed at least 5 people and injured dozens more. Authorities in Kharkiv say the bombs hit 5 locations across the city, including a playground where at least 1 child died. Others were killed in a nearby apartment building that caught fire as a result of that attack. Meantime, in Washington, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met with his Ukrainian counterpart today and condemned Moscow's recent wave of strikes on civilian infrastructure.
Let me be clear. It is never acceptable to target civilians. And Ukraine's resilience will help it prevail over Putin's aggression and atrocities.
Separately, Ukraine's president has fired the country's Air Force commander after an F-16 warplane supplied by Ukraine's Western allies crashed earlier this week. U.S. experts have joined the investigation into why the jet went down during a Russian missile and drone barrage on Monday. Shifting to the Middle East, the Israeli military says it killed a top commander and 2 of his associates during a 3rd day of operations in the occupied West Bank. Video today caught smoke rising over the city of Jenin as Israeli police vehicles patrolled on the ground. Israel says the raids have killed at least 19 people since Tuesday, most of them militants. Residents of Tulkarm returned today after Israel withdrew from the area, finding their homes reduced to rubble.
Here where you are filming was the house of an old woman. Since the first moment of the raid, they destroyed the house, and then they entered the house behind us. There were walls and a road here. They destroyed them too.
Meantime, in Gaza, an aid group says an Israeli airstrike killed several people when it struck a convoy that was carrying medical supplies to a hospital. They say the dead were employees of a local transportation company and the strike came without warning. Israel claims gunmen had seized the convoy and were the target of the attack. Investigations are ongoing. Maryland's Supreme Court has ordered a redo of the hearing that freed Adnan Syed over concerns about the rights of the victim's family. It's the latest twist in a legal drama that was the focus of the Serial podcast, which propelled the case to national attention. Syed was convicted more than 2 decades ago for killing his high school ex-girlfriend. He was freed in 2022, only to have his conviction reinstated a year later. One of the dissenting judges in today's ruling did not mince words, writing that the case is, quote, a procedural zombie. It has been reanimated despite its expiration. Syed will remain free as a lower court considers whether to throw out his conviction. Now on Wall Street today, stocks ended the week with solid gains. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added more than 200 points to close at a new record high. The Nasdaq added nearly 200 points, or more than 1%. The S&P 500 closed out its fourth straight winning month. And we have results from the second full day of competition at the Paralympic Games in Paris. In the shot put, Tunisia's Rawa Talili won her fifth gold in 5 appearances. France's Alexandre Lotz secured a second gold medal for the host nation, winning the men's cycling 3,000 meters by 2 seconds. Team USA won its first gold medal of the tournament thanks to Gia Pergolini's performance in the 100-meter backstroke. And Brazil takes home the first gold in para-athletics, which includes running, jumping, and racing events. Julio Cesar Agrippino won the men's 5,000-meter event for runners with near-total visual impairment. And we have a passing of note from the world of sports. NHL player Johnny Gaudreau and his brother were killed last night by a suspected drunken driver as they were riding bicycles in their home state of New Jersey. Known as Johnny Hockey, Gaudreau played 11 seasons in the NHL, most recently with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He was known for his speed on the ice, for his positivity, and his love of the game. LeBron James and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie are among those who've paid tribute. Gaudreau was in New Jersey to be a groomsman at his sister's wedding this weekend. Johnny Gaudreau was 31 years old. His brother Matthew was 29. Still to come on the News Hour, how the United States' complex system of insurance and mental health care makes finding help so difficult. David Brooks and Kimberly Atkins Storr weigh in on the week's campaign headlines. And we hear from young Afghan musicians who were forced to flee their country after the Taliban takeover.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.